Have you ever wondered what really goes through the mind of a mature woman when it comes to her intimate life? What if I told you that, far from becoming more reserved with age, they're actually much more passionate, free, and confident than you ever imagined? In this video, I'm going to share 23 fascinating psychological facts about mature women that might completely change the way you understand them. So, if you've ever felt like you're missing something when trying to connect with a woman who's been through different stages of life, I guarantee you'll find answers here that you never expected. Let me tell you something personal. I have a deep passion for improving intimate relationships. Every time I get together with my friends and we start talking about these topics, I can't help but take mental notes. I question, I dig deeper, and then I spend hours researching to truly understand how it all works. And I'm always surprised. Because believe me, mature women have secrets they only share with those who truly take the time to understand them on a deeper level. The other day, while we were having coffee, a friend revealed something to me that left me thinking, do you want to know what she told me about her intimate life after turning 50? What I discovered might be exactly what you need to turn your own life around. My name is Celia, and if this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because on this channel, we talk about things no one else tells you, and trust me, you won't want to miss a single video. Let's get started. 1. Mature women's desire is much more intense than you imagined. You'd be surprised to know that as women mature, their sexual desire doesn't diminish. In many cases, it actually intensifies. It's as if with age, they let go of the chains of taboos and societal expectations that held them back in their youth. What was once timid or repressed is now free and uninhibited. Imagine the difference. They no longer worry about what people will say or feel the need to meet certain expectations. Instead, they embrace their sexuality in a fuller and more authentic way. Think about this. A mature woman has spent years getting to know her body and desires, and now, without the pressures of youth, she feels more comfortable asking for what she really wants in bed. And trust me, when she asks, she'll do it with a confidence that can be incredibly exciting. This is something I learned from a conversation with a friend who, between laughs, confessed to me that she had never enjoyed sex as much as she does now, in her 50s. I used to worry if I was doing everything right, but now, I focus on enjoying it myself, she told me. So, if you ever thought that desire fades with age, here's some news. What's coming is a flame that's much more intense and genuine. And if you're ready to embrace that energy, the experience will be unforgettable. 2. They have unexpected fantasies and want to fulfill them. Now, if you thought a mature woman's sexual desire was surprising, wait until you hear this. Not only is their desire more intense, but their fantasies are also much richer and more varied. And the best part, they want to make them come true. Sometimes we underestimate women's imagination, as if after a certain age, it calms down or loses its spark. But the truth is, it's the opposite. The more secure they feel, the more free they are to explore those corners of their mind they might have kept hidden for years. It's not uncommon for them, with the confidence they've gained throughout their life, to dare to share fantasies with you that you may have never imagined. I remember another friend telling me about a desire she'd had for years but never mentioned when she was younger. Why? Because she thought it might scare her partner or that she would be judged. But now, with the confidence that experience has given her, she shared it with him, and according to her, that night was one of the best of her life. So, why not ask what those fantasies are? I guarantee you'll be surprised. You just need to create a safe, judgment-free space. And you might discover that behind that calm gaze is a woman with a world of desires waiting to be explored. And if you think about it, this isn't just about sex. It's about connection, trust, sharing those deepest secrets, and feeling part of that adventure. Because a mature woman who trusts you enough to open up in that way is a partner with whom you can live much more intense and meaningful experiences. 3. Is sex better at 50? Absolutely true. It might be hard to believe, but sex after 50 can be much better than at any other stage of life. You're probably wondering how that's possible, right? The answer is simple. Experience changes everything. Over the years, women have learned to know their bodies, discover what they truly enjoy, and most importantly, they've let go of many insecurities. Imagine being with a woman who knows exactly what gives her pleasure and, on top of that, how to give it to you. It's no coincidence that, in several surveys, many mature women report that their sex life has significantly improved with age. And it's not just about technique, it's about an emotional maturity that allows them to give themselves fully without the barriers they may have had in their youth. It's as if all that accumulated experience makes them masters of the art of pleasure. I remember a woman telling me that after turning 50, she rediscovered her own sensuality. "It's like my whole body was reborn," she said. Her husband noticed the difference too, and according to her, their relationship changed completely. They went from a dull routine to encounters that left them smiling for days. So, if anyone has ever told you that sex gets boring with age, get ready to change your mind. The best is yet to come, if you dare to explore that new stage with her. 4. They know how to reach orgasm, and they'll tell you. One of the most fascinating things about mature women is that they don't beat around the bush. At this point in life, they've left behind shyness or fear of speaking up. If they like something, they'll let you know, and if they don't, they'll tell you that too. The best part? They're done with games or false hints. They know what they want, how they want it, and if you listen, both of you will come out ahead. A friend of mine told me something very revealing. When I was younger, I used to fake orgasms so I wouldn't hurt my partner's ego. Now, I'm not interested in that. If I want to reach climax, I know what I need and I ask for it. There you have it. It's not about guessing games or failed attempts. It's a direct and clear conversation that not only makes the experience more enjoyable, but also much more authentic. At the end of the day, both of you want the same thing, to enjoy without misunderstandings or frustrations. So here's a golden tip. Listen to her. If she says something works, keep going. If she guides you in another direction, follow the path. Because when a mature woman tells you what she likes, she's offering you the map to a much deeper and more satisfying sexual experience. And trust me, that's something you don't want to miss. 5. Slow and deep. How mature women prefer intimacy. With maturity, many women begin to savor intimacy in a different way. They're no longer just looking for physical intensity, but for a deeper, emotional, and bodily connection. And this is where pace makes all the difference. Quick and frantic sex has its place, but what they truly value is a slower, more mindful approach where every touch, every glance matters. It's a game of presence and complicity. According to a study published in the Journal of Sex Research, women over 40 value quality over quantity in their sexual encounters. This means they prefer a richer experience, where emotional connection merges with physical pleasure. It's about being fully present in the moment, enjoying every sensation, and deepening the bond that's being created. Slow and deep sex allows them to connect, not just with their body, but with their partner on a much more intimate level. So, if you've ever felt the need to rush to keep the spark alive, it might be time to reconsider. Next time, try slowing down, take the time to explore her, to listen to her body, and let both of you enjoy each moment without rushing. You'll be surprised at how intense the experience can be when you let emotions set the pace. 6. The climax after 50. Here's a fact few people expect. A mature woman's orgasms can be much more intense and prolonged than in her youth. This isn't just a matter of experience, but also how the body changes over time. As a woman matures, her body becomes more attuned to what gives her pleasure, and she can enjoy it for a longer period. An article in the American Journal of Sexual Medicine revealed that many women over 50 report more intense orgasms than they experienced in their younger years. This is partly because they're less concerned with aesthetics or performance, which allows them to fully focus on the sensations of the moment. Without the anxiety of doing it right or meeting someone else's expectations, their ability to let go increases significantly. And that leads to much deeper and more satisfying orgasms. Moreover, mature women are no longer afraid to explore what they really like. With the confidence they've gained, they're more willing to try new ways of reaching climax without worrying about what's normal or being judged. This is one of those secrets many men don't know. The freedom that comes with maturity is a key ingredient for explosive pleasure. The lesson here: don't assume that youth is synonymous with greater pleasure. In maturity, knowing your body and being confident in yourself can lead to a level of pleasure that simply isn't attainable at other stages of life. 7. Mature women love taking control in bed. One of the biggest changes that comes with age is confidence. And when a mature woman brings that confidence into the bedroom, the result can be surprising. Many women in their younger years may have been more passive or focused on pleasing their partner, often worrying about what he wanted or needed. But over time, that dynamic can radically shift. And here's where things get interesting. Mature women not only know what they want, but they're more than willing to take charge to get it. It's important to remember that control and intimacy isn't just about physical dominance. Sometimes it's subtle, guiding a hand, suggesting a change in rhythm, or taking the lead at key moments. This is where their experience really comes into play, and for many men, letting go and following that confidence can be incredibly exciting. At the end of the day, it's about balance. If you learn to give up control every now and then, you might discover new forms of pleasure you hadn't even considered. And don't worry, it's not about losing your role in the relationship. Quite the opposite. Sharing control and exploring different dynamics can strengthen your bond and make the experience much more enjoyable for both of you. As Carl Jung once said, "What we resist persists, what we embrace transforms us." So why not let yourself be surprised by that transformation? 8. They're not afraid of toys. If there's one thing mature women have learned over the years, it's that life doesn't have to be so serious, especially in bed. Far from being a taboo, many are completely open to using sex toys to add a little more fun and variety to their intimate life. And the truth is, at this point, they no longer have the fears or shame they might have had in their younger years. In fact, a recent study published by Sexual Health Australia found that more than 50% of women over 45 are interested in experimenting with sex toys. It's not that they need them, but they see them as a way to explore new sensations and break the routine. And the best part is, they're not afraid to suggest it. Sometimes it's about finding that spark that ignites something different, something that breaks the monotony of routine intimacy. Toys can be that spark. And guess what? It's not just about giving her pleasure, it's about creating a shared experience where both of you enjoy it. So if she ever suggests it, don't be scared. It's not a replacement, it's an invitation to explore together and discover new forms of connection. The key here is to be open to new ideas, step out of your comfort zone, and understand that pleasure comes in many forms. Because in the end, what really matters is that both of you enjoy the experience and strengthen that bond of complicity that only comes when you feel free to explore without judgment or fear. 9. The scent that ignites desire in mature women. Over the years, I've learned that not all intimacy stimuli are physical or visual. The sense of smell has a power we often overlook, especially with mature women. I discovered this almost unintentionally when I began to notice how certain scents completely change the atmosphere. A perfume, a soap, even the natural scent of skin after a shower. These can be invisible triggers of desire you didn't expect. In time, I realized that scents can awaken memories, emotions, and in many cases, a deep attraction that goes beyond the conscious mind. For a mature woman who has lived and experienced many facets of life, scent is a doorway to the most primal aspect of desire. It's not superficial. It's a connection to her memories, her passions, her most intimate moments. And if you find that scent that sparks something special in her, you will have discovered a way to stimulate her in a way that even words can't achieve. I've seen it in simple moments, when, without realizing it, you wear a familiar perfume, and you notice how her mood shifts, how she relaxes, or how, suddenly, she gets closer to you, seeking that physical connection. It's not a coincidence. In my personal experience, I've understood that smell is an emotional catalyst that can reignite desire almost magically. And if you know how to use it, you'll have a powerful tool to connect with her on a deeper level. 10. The secret of jasmine and lavender, scents that make her want you more. Let's talk science, because it's not all intuition. According to a study by the Smell and Taste Treatment and Research Foundation in Chicago, certain scents have an incredibly powerful effect on attraction and sexual desire. For mature women, 2 scents stand out above the rest: jasmine and lavender. These aren't just simple floral perfumes. Both aromas have the ability to deeply relax women while simultaneously awakening their sensual side. Jasmine, for example, has been used for centuries in rituals of love and desire, and it's no coincidence. This aroma contains compounds that help improve mood and reduce anxiety, allowing women to feel freer and more open to intimate contact. And when a woman is relaxed, her openness to pleasure increases significantly. Lavender, on the other hand, is known for its calming and relaxing effects. But did you know it can also increase blood flow to certain areas of the body? It's no wonder many women find this scent deeply erotic. So if you want to incorporate these scents into your intimate life, there are several ways to do it. You could use essential oils during a massage before intimacy, which will not only relax her muscles, but also stimulate her desire. You could also light candles with these scents during dinner or a special night, creating a warm and sensual atmosphere. Even personal perfumes with jasmine or lavender notes can be an option. Just see how she reacts. The key is for the scent to be present but not overpowering. It should be subtle, enveloping, like a whisper that accompanies her and guides her toward that state of well-being and desire. Here's the trick. When you find the scent that makes her close her eyes, take a deep breath and smile. You've touched an intimate chord that many overlook. Because sometimes what excites her most isn't what she sees or feels, but that small, invisible detail that connects her to her most sensual side. 11. Emotional connection to unleash her wild side. Emotional connection is the real trigger for desire in mature women. If you can touch her heart, her body will follow. And here's something important. It's not just about saying the right words, but about making her feel that you truly understand her. That's the key to unlocking her most passionate side, the one she might not even realize is waiting to be unleashed. Sexology expert Esther Perel puts it plainly. Desire lives in the space between the self and the other. It's not just about being close, but about creating a space where she can explore her own freedom within the relationship. In other words, when she feels that the connection goes beyond the physical, that you make her feel safe and free at the same time, her desire intensifies. Think about those moments when a look, a smile, or a deep conversation completely transforms the atmosphere between you. You don't need grand gestures. Sometimes it's enough to simply be present, to listen without interruptions, or to show her that you value who she is beyond the bedroom. That trust, that emotional intimacy, is what unlocks her wildest side. It's as if, by feeling she can trust you completely, she allows herself to be freer, more open, and above all, more authentic in her desire. So, if you've ever wondered how to get a mature woman to surrender passionately, the answer isn't just physical. It's in how you make her feel emotionally. When she knows you're there, that you understand her and value everything she is, I guarantee the rest will flow with incredible naturalness. 12. The body language that reveals her deepest desires. Even if she doesn't say it with words, a mature woman's body is constantly sending you signals. And this is where many men make a mistake. They focus so much on what she says that they forget to pay attention to what she's showing. Because at the end of the day, the body never lies. Learning to read her body language is like having a map to her deepest desires. The signals can be subtle, a change in her posture, how she looks at you, how she moves closer or pulls away when you're talking. Sometimes, even a simple gesture, like touching her hair or licking her lips, can be an invitation that many don't know how to interpret. And it's not just about what she does in intimate moments. From the moment you're with her, she's already showing you how she feels. If she leans toward you while talking, if her gaze softens, or if her hands rest closer to yours, these are small hints that something more is happening beneath the surface. Even the way she breathes can change if she's feeling intense attraction. The trick? Pay attention to those little details we often take for granted. Sometimes when a mature woman feels desire but doesn't say it outright, her body takes the lead. If you become more observant, if you learn to pick up on those non-verbal cues, you'll know exactly when she's ready to take the connection to another level. Communication doesn't always need words, and in intimacy, those signals are what truly make the difference. Because, in the end, understanding her body language is a way to be in tune with her, to anticipate her desires without her having to ask. And when you achieve that connection, when you can interpret what her body is telling you, I assure you the experience will be infinitely richer for both of you. 13. Don't smother her. A mature woman has spent years building her independence, and that's something she deeply values. She's not interested in a man who depends on her for everything or smothers her with constant demands for attention. What truly attracts her is someone who has his own life, his own interests, and doesn't need to be by her side 24/7. In fact, a man's independence can be one of the biggest aphrodisiacs. And it's easy to tell when you're crossing the line. If you notice that she's distancing herself, becoming quieter, or starting to postpone your plans, you might be becoming too emotionally dependent. What she wants is a confident man, someone who doesn't need her to validate his life, but rather wants to share moments with her from a place of autonomy and self-assurance. A clear example: imagine you and she have spent an incredible weekend together, but then you call her the next day, and the next, and the next. It might seem like a sweet gesture, but if you don't give her space to breathe, she'll start to feel smothered. Balance is key. Instead of always being available, why not let her reach out to you as well? Give her space and time, and you'll be surprised at how she comes back to you with even more desire and excitement. The trick here is to trust the relationship without the need to control every moment. A mature woman appreciates space, and if you handle it well, that distance can be what keeps the spark alive. Because, at the end of the day, what attracts her most is a man who has his own path, but chooses to walk beside her without depending on her for every step. 14. If she teases you, she wants you in bed. If a mature woman has ever teased you playfully, joking with a smile on her face, there's a good chance she's flirting. At this stage, flirting isn't as direct as it was in youth. It's much more subtle and fun. But behind that little provocation is a clear sign of desire. It's her way of testing the waters and seeing if you're ready to play along. This is where you need to pay attention. Light jokes, nicknames she gives you, or even those little criticisms in just ways to gauge your reaction. If you respond with insecurity or get offended, you might miss the moment. But if you take it with humor, if you play along with the same energy, you'll enter a dynamic where the attraction is about to heat up. For example, the next time a mature woman teases you in jest, don't take it so seriously. Instead of feeling attacked, respond with something fun and light-hearted. If she says something like, "Do you always wear that boring shirt?" you could reply, "Only when I want you to notice me more." With this kind of response, you're not only showing her that you're confident, but also opening the door for her to continue flirting with you. This playful interaction is a form of foreplay that keeps the spark alive and makes the connection much more fun and spontaneous. And when you respond with confidence and good humor, you give her the security to be authentic with you, knowing that you don't take everything too seriously and that you're ready for whatever comes next. Because deep down, a mature woman wants someone who understands that balance between play and desire and knows how to enjoy both. 15. Her friends know more than you think. I assure you that mature women have a special bond with their friends. And I'm not just talking about casual coffee dates or superficial chats. I'm talking about deep, intimate conversations where they share even the most private details. Yes, what happens in bed with you. There's a good chance her friends know about it too. It's not that they spill every detail, well, sometimes they do, but that trust among them allows for open discussions about their relationships, doubts, desires, and yes, about you. So, should you be worried about this? Not at all. In fact, if her friends know and she's still with you, it means things are going pretty well. Because, trust me, if they weren't, you'd already know. In these conversations, women seek advice, understanding, and often validation about what they're experiencing. It's like their emotional and sexual support network. And you know what? Having her friends on your side can be an advantage. Instead of feeling uncomfortable about what she might be sharing, see it as an opportunity. Be attentive, listen to what she says, and keep in mind that sometimes what seems like a casual comment may have come from a conversation with her friends. If you pick up on these signals and show interest in improving or adapting to her desires, you're not only winning her over, you're also earning points with her inner circle. And trust me, when you have her friends on your side, everything flows much more smoothly. 16. Watch out for her true intentions. This is a classic, though not as common in mature women as in younger ones, but it still happens. Dating you without genuine interest, just to enjoy a nice dinner or a fun outing. I won't lie, some do it, but the important thing here is knowing how to tell when she's really into you and when she's just looking to have a good time without any intention of moving the relationship forward. How can you tell? Well, if after several dates you feel the connection isn't going deeper, if it's always you who proposes plans, pays, and makes the effort, that's a red flag. A mature woman who's genuinely interested in you will be looking for more than just a nice restaurant. She'll seek conversation, connection, and she'll probably suggest plans herself from time to time. Reciprocity is one of the keys to knowing if she's truly interested. To avoid this situation, here's a simple exercise. Before inviting her to dinner again, suggest something more personal, an activity that doesn't involve spending money or focuses more on getting to know each other. You could propose a walk in the park, a chat in a small cafe, or even cooking together at home. If she's really into you, she won't have any problem with a simpler plan. If her interest is superficial, she'll likely find excuses or avoid more intimate moments. What matters is that both of you enjoy each other's company, without measuring the value of the relationship by how much is spent on an outing. Because when there's genuine connection, the best dates are priceless and have no menu. 17. How to arouse a mature woman when she's angry. Mature women, like anyone else, can go through moments where anger or frustration takes over. This is where many men make a mistake. They try to solve the problem with cold logic, or worse, distance themselves to avoid confrontation. But in reality, the key to turning that anger into desire lies in emotional and sexual empathy. Unlike younger women, a mature woman won't be swayed by a simple apology or flowers picked up on the way. What she wants is for you to take the time to listen to her, understand what's really bothering her, and show her that you value her emotions. This isn't just about talking, it's about truly being present. The right words can soften the atmosphere, but empathy is what really makes the difference. And yes, that anger can be the prelude to a much deeper connection if you know how to handle it. The key is simple. Don't run from the conflict, lean in. Sexual empathy means knowing the right moment to break the tension. A gentle touch, an unexpected caress, or even a hug that conveys that, despite everything, you're there for her, can be the catalyst to transform that tension into something much more pleasurable. A simple exercise. The next time you see she's upset, instead of looking for quick fixes, sit by her side, look her in the eyes, and tell her you want to understand how she's feeling. Let her talk, and when you think the time is right, gently move closer physically without pressure. Many times, what a mature woman needs in those moments is to feel understood, and that understanding can open the door to an intimate encounter neither of you expected. 18. They feel attraction, even if they don't admit it. Sometimes, a mature woman may feel a deep attraction to you, but she won't admit it openly. Whether it's pride, experience, or simply waiting for you to make the first move, this is where your ability to read between the lines comes into play, unlocking that hidden desire that, while unspoken, is definitely there. One of the most common signs is the way she looks at you. If you notice she's glancing at you from the corner of her eye, or holding your gaze a bit longer than usual, there's likely something more going on. You might also pick up on subtle gestures that show nervousness, like playing with her hair or touching her neck. These are subtle hints that her attraction is there, waiting for you to take action. The trick is in how you approach the situation. If you challenge her directly or put her in an uncomfortable position, she'll likely withdraw even more. But if you act calmly, with confidence and a bit of humor, she'll be more likely to feel comfortable letting that desire come to the surface. For instance, you could joke about what you've noticed. I think you're looking at me more than usual, or is that just my imagination? Say it with a smile, relaxed, so she knows you're taking it lightly, without pressure. For example, the next time you notice those subtle signs, instead of making an impulsive move, try to create an atmosphere where she feels safe to express what she's truly feeling. Patience and subtlety are key here. If you can generate that sense of security, you'll be much closer to unlocking that desire which, though hidden, is there and just waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. 19. It's better with a playful mind. One thing I've learned over time from observing, listening, and experiencing is that for a mature woman, sex doesn't start in bed. It starts in the mind. The body follows the mental desire, and this is where the power of imagination comes in. It's not so much about what you do physically, but how you ignite that spark in her mind. If you want to take intimacy to another level, you need to stimulate her imagination. A friend explained it to me perfectly during one of our long talks. She said, "Look, after 50, fantasies become more intense because you no longer have the mental limitations of youth. You're no longer afraid of being judged or worried about meeting some ideal. Pleasure starts in your head. So, if you can make her imagine, fantasize, and anticipate what's coming, the experience will be much richer." How can you do this? It's not just about explicit words or seduction games. Sometimes, a midday message hinting at what you have in mind for that night can spark that flame. Or maybe a conversation where you ask about her desires, exploring together what makes her feel most alive. Mature women, at this stage, value complicity, and playing with her imagination will make her feel connected to you in a very intense way. Exercise to awaken her mind. Next time you're together, don't jump straight to the physical. Instead, start with a conversation, something light, but that leaves the door open to fantasy. Ask her about her most pleasurable moments, what she likes, what she'd like to try, and as you talk, let her mind anticipate, imagining what could come next. You'll be surprised at the power of a well-played mental game, because when the mind is lit up, the body follows with more intensity than you could imagine. 20. Why are some mature women still attracted to men who don't treat them well? This is a bit of an uncomfortable topic, but it's a reality. Even mature, experienced women sometimes continue to be attracted to men who don't value them or treat them poorly. Why does this happen? It often has more to do with emotions than logic. Even though they know they deserve better, the emotional and sexual attraction can be so strong that it's hard to break certain patterns. What's interesting is that, according to a study by psychologist Terry Apter, some women are drawn to what's known as the intermittent reinforcement cycle. This means that when a man treats them well sporadically, those small gestures feel like an incredible reward after a period of indifference or poor treatment. It's a complicated cycle. The emotional reward of those brief positive moments can create an emotional dependence that's hard to break, even when reason tells them they should walk away. I've seen this with more than one friend. One of them confessed to me that despite knowing her partner didn't treat her the way she deserved, there was an attraction she couldn't ignore. It's like when he ignores me, I want him more, and when he gives me attention, I feel like I've won something. It's absurd, I know, but it's how I feel, she told me. This led me to dig deeper into the issue and understand that it's not just about logic or what seems right. There's something deeper, a mix of desire and a need for validation that can be hard to overcome. If you've ever noticed a mature woman trapped in this kind of relationship, it's important not to judge her, but to understand that breaking free from these cycles takes time. The solution isn't to confront her, but to give her the space to rediscover her worth and realize that she deserves a relationship where respect and desire go hand in hand. Because in the end, what they truly want is a real connection, but that connection has to come from a place of equality and mutual respect, not from power plays or control. So, if you ever wonder why a mature woman keeps going back to a man who doesn't value her, remember that attraction isn't always rational. The key is to help her, from a place of empathy, see what she truly needs. A man who is worthy of what she has to offer. 21. Libido reborn after 50. One of the biggest surprises for many women after 50 is that far from fading, their libido comes back with incredible strength. It's as if they suddenly enter a second youth, but with all the wisdom and confidence that experience has given them. And it's not just a physical drive, it's also emotional freedom. They are no longer weighed down by the insecurities or pressures of youth. Now, they enjoy sex purely for the pleasure of it, without fear of judgment, without restrictions. What's interesting is that many women don't even expect this themselves. I've heard more than once from women who, after menopause, thought their sexual desires would fade, but the reality is quite the opposite. Some even describe it as an explosion of energy that makes them rediscover their body and capacity for pleasure. Without the worry of pregnancy or hormonal swings, many find a new rhythm in their intimate lives, and that changes everything. This is where you, as a partner, can make a difference. Instead of assuming that age is an obstacle, you have the opportunity to rediscover that spark with her. How do you do it? Simple. First, don't fall into the trap of thinking that just because she's over 50, her desire has diminished. Instead, observe her. Listen to what her body and words are telling you. Ask her what excites her now, what sparks her interest. Because I guarantee that in this second youth, her interests and desires may have evolved. Here's a practical exercise. Next time you're together, try something that allows you to rediscover each other, but in a relaxed way, without expectations. It could be a massage with no pressure to go anywhere, simply to reconnect with the body, or maybe an intimate conversation about what she feels in this new stage of life. You'll be surprised at how, by giving her the space to explore her pleasure freely, you'll open the door to a new wave of desire that can transform your relationship. 22. The secret power of your cologne. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that for mature women, the sense of smell remains one of the most powerful when it comes to attraction. It's not just about looking good, it's about smelling good. And when you find that scent that really excites her, you've won more than half the battle. Why? Because smell has a direct connection to emotions and memories. The cologne you wear can trigger deep feelings, and if you choose the right one, you'll tap into a part of her desire she might not even know was there. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and buy the most expensive cologne on the market. What works is finding a scent that's pleasant, but also awakens something in her. Studies have shown that woody and spicy scents tend to have a more sensual impact on women, especially as they get older. But the most important thing is that the scent becomes part of your personality, so that when she smells it, she associates it with you. Here's an interesting exercise to discover which scents excite her. The next time you're together, wear a new cologne or lotion and watch her reaction. Don't mention it, let her notice on her own. If you see her body relax or notice her getting closer to you, then you've found a scent that works. Once you discover it, make it yours. That cologne will become your secret weapon, a trigger that will always remind her of those intimate moments you shared. Remember, the sense of smell is a powerful one that works in the background, but it can have a direct impact on your connection with her. So next time, before worrying about everything else, pay attention to the small details, because a good scent can be the key to unlocking unexpected passion. 23. The best kept secret. If there's one thing mature women have learned over the years, it's that emotional connection has a direct impact on the quality of their orgasms. It's not just about the physical. For them, intimacy is much deeper when there's a real connection, a complicity that goes beyond the body. And the interesting thing here is that when that connection exists, orgasms are not only more intense, but also more prolonged. There's a fascinating study by Dr. Barbara DeAngelis, an expert on relationships, that reveals women who feel emotionally understood and valued by their partner have more intense and frequent orgasms. This is because when a woman feels safe and emotionally connected, her body relaxes and pleasure flows more naturally. It's as if that emotional security opens the doors to a much deeper physical experience. So how can you strengthen this connection? There's an exercise that never fails, and it's much simpler than you think. Listen. Really listen. It's not just about being physically present, but making her feel that what she says matters, that you understand her. Many times, men focus on the physical, on doing things right, but what she's looking for is something more. A sincere conversation, looking into her eyes, asking her how she feels. These can be the triggers that turn that emotional connection into overwhelming physical desire. And here's the best kept secret. Once she feels emotionally valued, orgasms become much easier to achieve and far more intense. Because for a mature woman, pleasure isn't just about what happens to her body. It starts long before, in her mind and heart. When you connect with her on that level, everything else follows naturally. So, next time you're seeking a deeper intimate experience, don't just focus on the physical. Invest time in strengthening that emotional connection, and you'll see how her response is far more intense than you ever imagined. Sexuality and intimacy in older age are not only possible, but they can even be more satisfying than in earlier stages of life. This isn't just a matter of physical desire. It's a blend of experiences, emotions, and lessons accumulated over the years. By working on emotional connection, exploring fantasies without fear, and remaining open to new ways of interacting, couples can discover an endless source of pleasure and intimacy. Enjoying a full and satisfying life in every way during older age is not just about how we relate to others, but also how we treat ourselves. Intimacy at this stage becomes a space for self-exploration, for rediscovering one's own body and desires, and for sharing those discoveries with someone who is also on a journey of growth. Connection, respect, and play don't disappear with age. They become powerful tools for enjoying a richer and more fulfilling life. It's essential that we let go of the prejudices about what sexuality in maturity means and open our minds to new ways of enjoying and connecting. Because in the end, pleasure, satisfaction, and well-being have no expiration date. My name is Celia, and I want this to be a space where we can talk about these important topics openly, but always with respect. I want us to find ways together to improve our quality of life, not just in the intimate aspects, but in everything we do. Because in the end, every small change we make in ourselves reflects in our relationships and our well-being. If this is your first time on the channel, I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming topics we'll be discussing. And if you've made it this far, it means you take your personal growth seriously, and that deserves recognition. So, to know who the committed ones are who made it to the end, comment the phrase, "I love wisdom." I'd love to read your comments and see who's with me on this journey of self-discovery. And don't leave without sharing this video with your loved ones. There may be someone in your life who needs to hear these words today and find a new perspective. Sometimes a small piece of advice can make a big difference. I'll see you in the next video.